guys, it's Nicole here, the Harmonious Hippy. We are going to be posed here in front of my porch today. I had a really nice setup out on the porch, but then every rooster that lives in Cayman started screaming, and for some reason in a pandemic there were a bunch of planes flying overhead. I'm not sure what that's about, so it was just not gonna happen outside. It's just way too loud out there today. So we will try to do one on the porch at some point. It also is quite hot out there today, so I'm kind of glad to be back in the AC. So today's practice is going to be just a regular flow. However, today's flow is going to be a little bit more advanced. I'm gonna add a couple of challenge poses in there. So please do listen to your body. Obviously, that doesn't mean that only advanced yogis can do this practice. I will give some cues for a little bit less crazy poses. So feel free to join no matter what level that you are at, and listen to your body as always, and just do what you're comfortable with. Yeah, so it should be fun today. Get ready to sweat a little bit, at least I will. And otherwise, all you need is your yoga mat, maybe a blanket and some blocks if you would like that to support you. And maybe a water if you feel that that's necessary. Otherwise, you just need to bring yourself. Let's get started. Okay guys, just starting out seated. I've got a blanket under my sit bones if you want to do that, or come under a block or come on top of a block, just to get that anterior tilt to the pelvis. You want your hip creases to be higher than your knees typically. This will make it a lot more comfortable to sit down. We're just going to do a quick little tune in to come into the body today, so nothing too crazy with the meditations here. So palms could be face down to ground or face up to receive. Closing down the eyes, let's roll the shoulders up and back to open across the chest. And dropping in. Starting to tune into your breath. Just observing how that's looking today without judgment. Perhaps your breath is moving quite slow or a little quickly. Just observing how that's going for you, how it feels to come onto your mat and relax. And coming perhaps to an intention here that you would like to set for your practice. If you would like to relax a little bit, get some movement in. Perhaps you have a desire to try something new. Maybe there's an advanced posture in here that you've never even attempted before. Obviously, keeping tuned in with your body, doing what's safe. But perhaps you'll be able to surprise yourself here. Or perhaps your intention is just to take it easy today, get some movement. There's no right or wrong here. A couple of cleansing breaths here, taking a deep inhale through the nose and opening the mouth. Exhale, sigh. Twice more. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh. Last one. Deep inhale through the nose and letting go, sigh. To create circles with your upper body, moving into that Siri Om or Sufi grind here. You can make your circles as big or as small as you'd like. You can close down your eyes if that feels safe. You can start to move your head with your circles, inhaling the chest forward and exhaling the chest back. Moving with your breath at a tempo that feels good for you. Getting some movement into the hips and the spine. just switching directions. Rooting into the floor. And completing your last circle, coming back to a neutral spine. We're going to flip over now into our tabletop position, sorry. All fours is what I was trying to think of. So removing any props that you were on. You can place the blanket under your knees if you have tender knees, which I will be doing. And placing the wrists directly under the shoulders and the knees directly under the hips. We're gonna rock forward and backwards slightly, making sure here that you're not just letting the back go. You wanna engage your core slightly so that you have a neutral spine. Starting to bring some movement into those wrists. And turning the hands out to the sides of the mat. Rocking side to side here, perhaps moving into some circles. Again, always staying attuned to what your body needs. If this is quite uncomfortable for you or quite a lot of pressure, you can always just stay stagnant here and maybe just rock slightly side to side, moving slowly, making sure that you're taking care of yourself. You definitely don't want to get a wrist injury, so being very careful here. And switching directions. Stretching out those wrists, pressing the fingers into the floor. And now flipping the fingers back towards you. This can be quite intense, so if you need to stay on one hand, you can do that, or you can do both at the same time. And you can begin to sit back. This is quite an intense stretch though, so do be very wary of your wrist health here. And then flipping your hands over so that the backs of your hands are on the floor. Again, you can do this with one or both hands, keeping the forearms as straight as you can. And leaning back into that. You can make little fists here if you'd like. We're just really trying to warm up those wrists and get those moving. Stretching out the forearms and the upper wrist. And then sitting back onto your heels, let's shake that out. Side to side first, as if you're flicking water off your fingers. And then up and down. This one feels a little weird. And then perhaps rolling the wrists in one direction and the other. Doing a little snowball with your hands in one direction. And then challenge move, doing it in the other direction. Shaking that out. We are going to move into camel pose here. So coming up onto your knees, you want to have your toes untucked behind you. You can also tuck them behind you depending on how comfortable that feels for your knees. You want your knees hip width apart and tucking the tailbone. You want to engage the core slightly, tucking navel to spine, open across the chest. If you are pregnant, if you have some tenderness in your lower back, maybe you're not quite ready for full camel yet, please take baby camel. So we'll start off with this for everyone. So placing the hands to the sit bone, so almost the where your kidneys would be, kind of the lower back, fingers pointing onto your bum, and peeling the shoulders back, starting to pull the elbows towards each other. Again, not crunching in your lower back. You want to keep that engaged so that you can think of going up and over a beach ball, starting to tilt the head back. If that's not comfortable, you can always keep the neck straight up. Just starting to lean back into that and getting that feeling of pushing your pelvis forward, pressing into the tops of the feet, and coming up and over into that little baby back bend here. Breathing. If you would like, you can drop the hands down to find the heels. Ooh, where is it? There it is. And pressing into the hips. In your full camel, you can also keep your hands up in Anjali Mudra, heart center. But again, not just hanging here, you want to really support that lower back. Stretching into the front body. And slowly on your inhale, coming back up and sitting back on the heels. Wiggling that out a little bit. And now stretching into the toes. This is very important to release the soles of the feet. Especially in the Western world, we have, in the modern world, we're always in shoes. Whereas back in the day, people would be barefoot a lot more. And this would really help with balance, the strength in the base of the feet. With balancing postures, a lot of us find that you get that almost cramping feeling in the bottom of your feet because your toes are trying to grip and you're not used to that feeling. This will go away obviously with time, so if you keep practicing that will stop. But it is really good still to stretch out the feet. So what we're gonna do is come forward and start to curl the toes under. Try to get all of your toes on the floor, including the pinky. This is not possible for me. My feet are very, not bendy. So this is quite intense for me. So if you can't, that's totally fine. Starting to come up, again, making sure that you're not just like, you want to still be engaged in your core. You always want to make sure that you're safely going into these things. So starting to lean back. And that is intense. Some of you may be fully back thinking, what is she talking about? This is similar to me in any hip opener. I'm dying. So breathing here. Sorry, my cat is trying to take the couch on. Let me just grab her. Come here, Heidi. Get away from there. Whee! Stay away from the couch. And she goes straight back. She's so naughty. Heidi! I hope you're still on your toes, people. You don't have a cat excuse. Hey, come on. Meows like I'm killing her. Sigh, so dramatic. All right, breathing through that stretch of the soles of the feet, of the toes. And now we are going to stretch the fronts of the feet, the tops of the feet, if you will. So coming onto your hands, we're gonna keep the toes curled under and just think of starting to lift your knees up off the ground. Be very careful here. You obviously don't want to put all of your weight on your toes, so please make sure you have the strength to do this. Otherwise, you can always do this 1 foot at a time, standing up. So we're just gonna come up onto those toes and stretch, almost like in a downward dog, curling those toes under, stretching the front of the feet, and releasing back down. Alrighty, whew. Let's take a child's pose for just 1 second. So widening the knees, bringing the big toes together, sinking the hips back, reaching the arms forward, or alternatively you can reach between your legs and grab for your heels. Just releasing the forehead to the ground. Perhaps rocking back and forth, working on any tension in the forehead. Just dropping in here. And slowly coming up, we're gonna bring knees together and come into puppy dog pose, which is a shoulder stretch. So this is very similar to child's pose, but we're not sinking back. We wanna keep the hips over the knees. Again, this can be quite intense, so please do listen to your body. Just beginning to sink your chest down to the ground. You can place your forehead on the ground. If you do come to a place where your chest reaches the ground, you can lift your head and place your chin on the floor. Making sure that you are breathing, releasing the shoulders. And sliding forward, placing the hands under the shoulders. We're gonna peel the shoulders back and come into our baby cobra here. So making sure in this pose that you are using the strength of your back to pull you up and not your hands. So pulling the shoulders back, beginning to gaze up, pull up, lifting the hands, placing those back down, and release. Let's do that once more. Inhale, peeling the shoulders back, shining the chest towards the front, and release. And coming through tabletop, let's move into our first downward dog. Sorry, I've got cat hair in my face, so if you see me itching my nose a lot, I'm not trying to pick my nose. I don't have boobies, okay? So planting the hands, pressing the knuckles into the floor and curling the toes under. We're gonna lift our hips up high. Ooh, pedaling out the feet. Doing any movements you need. Just to rest into this pose here, rocking the hips side to side. Now I say rest very lightly, of course. Downward dog is not a resting pose. I don't care who is saying it, they are wrong. It is not a resting pose. This is quite an intense posture. So just tuning in with your body, being very careful here, making sure that you are really pressing into your hands, especially your pointer finger and your thumb. This is going to take some pressure off your wrists. Leaning back through your hands, your heels can stay up. They never have to touch the ground. Knees can be slightly bent, and then taking that rib cage, sucking it in, making sure you're zipping up the front of the body here to keep some strength in the core. And then gazing at the thumbs. Let's take a little waddle to the front of our mats. And exhale, releasing into a forward fold. You can bend the knees quite heavily here to support the upper body. Reaching for opposite elbows. And rocking side to side. You can shake the head yes and no. And then like a rag doll, rolling up, vertebra by vertebra. The last thing to come up is the head. Rolling the shoulders up and back. Whew, I'm sweating. All right, we're gonna come into some sun salutations here. I think I might have my head cut off. You know what it looks like. Coming to Tadasana, strong through the legs, engaging the quads, pulling the knees up the leg, tucking that pelvis. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up overhead, hands come to touch, taking a little back bend here. And then exhaling, swan dive forward, releasing into your forward fold. Hands to shins, inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, folding down, planting the hands and stepping or hopping to your high plank here. For the first one, let's take it a little easy. So dropping the knees, we're gonna come knees, chest, chin. And lengthening out on the floor. Inhaling into your back bend, into your baby cobra, your upward facing dog. Releasing down and exhaling, coming through your tabletop into your downward facing dog. Taking a moment here. Inhale, gazing up at the thumbs and stepping or hopping to the front of your mat into your forward fold. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Bending the knees and sweeping the arms up overhead, palms come to touch, and hands come down through heart center, Anjali Mudra. Sweeping the arms up overhead. Baby back bend here. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding and planting the hands, stepping or hopping to your high plank here. You can come knees, chest, chin, or come through your full chaturanga if that's in your practice. And sweeping into your baby cobra or your upward facing dog. And then exhaling back into your downward facing dog. We're gonna lift up our right hand and reach back diagonally for the left ankle or calf, whatever's comfortable, and begin to pull yourself like you're twisting to look under that left armpit. Twisting the body open. Breathing. Releasing that right hand back to the ground, lifting the left and reaching for the right ankle, twisting yourself open. And releasing that left hand, inhaling, gazing at the thumbs, stepping or hopping to the front of the mat into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bending deeply in the knees, sweeping the arms up overhead, palms come to touch. And exhale through heart center. Pulling those pants back up. We're gonna inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. And baby back bend. And exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Placing the hands, stepping back to your high plank, coming through your chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. And sweeping up into your back bend. And exhaling, downward facing dog. Inhaling that right foot up into the air, keeping the hips even here. Making sure you're not opening, keep the toes pointed towards the ground. Gazing up at the thumbs. Squeeze your core here and think of lifting the hips up high to step your right foot in between your hands. As graceful as possible. Getting comfortable in your high lunge here, your crescent lunge. Light on the fingertips. Let's start to lift up. Arms come up, relax the shoulders down. Try to tuck your pelvis as much as you can. And dropping that back heel so that you are parallel to the back of your mat. Sweeping the arms open into a warrior two. Knee goes towards the pinky toes. Lifting the arms, lifting the palms. Dropping the shoulders back. And dropping that elbow onto the thigh, sweeping the arm up overhead into your extended side angle pose here. Inhaling to sweep up into your warrior two, straightening your front knee. Reaching forward as if you're being pulled by the fingertips before dropping into your triangle pose, sweeping that arm open. Ensuring that the knees are active here and you're not hyperextending. And sweeping that top arm down, pivoting on that back toe to come back to your high lunge. Let's drop that back knee here, sweeping the arms up overhead into your low lunge. And down into cactus arms, getting a little back bend here, opening the chest. And exhale, leaning back into your half split Ardha Hanumanasana. Toes are flexed here. You want to straighten your knee as much as you can, and instead of sitting back, you want to just come to where that is going to feel that hamstring stretch here. And instead of collapsing down, think of chin to shin. Breathing into the hamstring. Exhaling, planting that front foot, sweeping the arms forward and up, making sure that your knee stays over your ankle joint if you need to wiggle that foot forward. Bending back, Anjaneyasana, low lunge. And then exhaling, leaning back, straightening those toes. Half split. Keeping the hips even here. And inhaling, sweeping forward. Cactus arms. And exhale, half split, chin to shin. Dropping that front foot, curling the back toes and coming up off that knee. We're going to grow light in that back foot and step forward to meet the front, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bending the knees, sweeping the arms up overhead. Hands come to Anjali Mudra. Woo! That is a lot. Let's do it again. Inhale, sweep the arms up, back bend. Exhale, folding down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, planting the hands, stepping or hopping to your high plank. Coming through your chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. And sweeping up into your baby cobra or up dog. Exhaling through tabletop. Coming to your downward facing dog. And take a moment here to notice the difference between each side. Does the right side feel a little bit longer now? A little weaker maybe? Maybe a little stronger. And sweeping that left foot back, again, keeping the toes pointed down, hips stay equal. Again, squeezing into the core, think of lifting up to bring that foot in between your hands. It's very hard. So you're in your high lunge here, up on that back toe. Lifting up. Now remember to relax the shoulders down. Keep that core tight. And opening to your warrior two. Keep the pants up. Bending into that front knee. Knee goes towards the outside of the foot. Flipping the palms up. And dropping the elbows, sweeping the arm around into your extended side angle. Windmilling up to your warrior two, bending the knee and straighten. We're going to start to lean forward as if we're being pulled by our fingers and release to your triangle pose. My hand can come to a block here or your shin. Try not to use the floor, even if it feels that you're flexible enough. I find your chest will still be pointing towards the floor. And sweeping that hand down, twisting on the back toe, high lunge. Dropping the back knee, untucking the toes, and sweeping the arms up and open to cactus arms, pressing into that hip flexor, but making sure your hips stay equal here. And exhaling. Lifting up that toe, flexing that foot, coming into your Ardhra Hanumanasana, half split. Chin to shin. Dropping that front foot, and sweep the arms up into your Anjaneyasana, low lunge. And exhale, hands come down, half split. Planting the foot, sweeping the arms up and open to your cactus arms. And releasing down, back into that half split. Chin to shin. Breathing here. And then dropping that front foot, tucking the toes and lifting up into your high lunge. Growing light in that back foot and stepping up to meet the front foot, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Hands come through heart center, Anjali Mudra. And let's take a breath here. Inhale, sweeping the arms up, back bend. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, step or hop back into your high plank. Now we're gonna lift one leg here and bring it in towards the elbow. Hold this here, squeeze, 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 and place that back. Do a little fake downward dog. Back to your high plank, other knee, other elbow. Squeeze, 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 release. High plank, and you can release through your chaturanga. Whew, whew. I tell you, down on our stomachs here, coming all the way down. We're gonna start to peel the shoulders up and back as if we would for our baby cobra, but we're gonna squeeze the legs together. Palms come down by the sides, face up. Starting to squeeze the upper body up, followed by the lower body. Coming into your locust pose. Squeeze, 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 and release. Here to the mat. Letting the heels fall out. Again, hands come down by the sides. And peeling the shoulders back, lifting up, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Up higher, and release. Opposite ear to the mat. Breathing deeply here. And using your hands to press you up through your tabletop. We're gonna come into downward dog. Just gotta dab some sweat. Whew. Lord have mercy. Whew, whew, whew. All right, downward dog. Taking a breath here. Again, lifting the right foot up and stepping in between the hands. In your high lunge, you can wiggle that stance wider if you want. And you can step your back foot in a little bit and start to straighten in the front leg, coming into your pyramid pose. So again, you want to make sure that your hips are even here. And you are beginning to straighten in that front leg, feeling that stretch in the hamstring. You can start to bring your chin towards the shin again. Stretching through there. And then bending forward, releasing that foot back in your high lunge. Now we're gonna move into a bit of a challenge pose here. This one is called super soldier pose. So you can drop that back heel as if you're in a warrior two. You really want to extend out wide here. I'm gonna pull my sleeve up a little. And we're gonna start to try to bring the arm under the knee. So you can hold onto your ankle and pull yourself down. And then you really wanna open that hand out so that you can hold on here. Now, beginning to step your back leg in, keeping that shoulder hooked on your knee. You want to lift this hand up. You can have your other hand on the ground for support and start to come as if you're standing just on this foot and reach for your toes. Once you've done that, you can hold on here and pull that knee up high, straightening in your standing leg and releasing back down into your high lunge. It's a little crazy feeling, huh? So from here, we're gonna plant into that front foot, start to come forward as if we're in a warrior three, reaching for that shin. You're gonna come into your standing split. And then releasing that foot down, forward fold. Releasing here. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Bending the knees, we're going to sweep the arms up. Hands come to heart center. Taking a deep breath in. And exhale out. Sweeping the arms up overhead. Back bend. And exhale. Releasing forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step or hop back to your high plank. Come through your chaturanga or your knees, chest, chin. Sweeping up into your baby cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhaling, downward facing dog. Lifting up that left leg and stepping that between the hands. You're going to step that back foot in slightly, come into your pyramid pose, straightening in the front leg. Chin to shin. Stepping that back foot back into your high lunge. You can drop that heel. We're going to come into super soldier on this side. So bringing that shoulder, under your knee as much as you can, using this right hand for a stabilizer. You can start to step the back foot in, and then once you're hooked around that knee with your shoulder, you can reach for the toes. I'm not hooked enough, you gotta get right under there. And then start to bring the knee up and release. Whew. Stepping forward as if you're in your warrior three, reaching for the shin, coming into your half split. And releasing the leg down, forward fold. Taking a minute here. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead. And exhale, hands through heart center. We're going to do a quick balance posture here. And then we'll be moving down onto the floor. Whew, my word, y'all. I am sweating. So this is going to be Natarajasana. I think I'm saying it right. This is dancer pose. So there is a way to do this overhead. Today we're just going to be doing the one arm back situation. So planting into your left foot, you can bring your right foot up off the floor. Remember, rooting down to rise up, engaging in the core. Sorry, I had a little hiccup there. Engaging in the core, gazing at a point that is not moving in front of you. And then turning the palm to face the room. You can reach back for your foot and extend your left arm up. I like to kind of hook my thumb as if I'm holding onto my big toe as well, because I get a little bit sweaty, so it's hard to hold. And then when you feel stable and comfortable here, you can start to kick that foot up, kicking into your hand while you're pulling with your hand. So use that force against each other, beginning to come forward. Try to keep the hips even, and just coming forward to where it's comfortable, and holding that here, pressing with the foot and pressing with the hand. And then coming back up, letting go, wiggling that out. Ooh, as I said previously, wearing shoes a lot can kind of weaken the soles of the feet, so that can feel quite crampy in there. Now switching sides, rooting into that right foot, pressing down, tucking the pelvis, engaging the core, pulling that foot up, opening the left palm to the side. You can reach for that foot. Right hand comes up. And when you're feeling ready, you can start to kick that foot into the hand, moving forward, trying to keep the hips even. Keep breathing. And when you're ready, Releasing out. Wiggling that around a little, doing a cool dance. And then we are going to come onto the floor. So find your way to a comfortable seat. We're going to move into Baddha Konasana, so butterfly pose. You can have the feet as close or as far away from you as you'd like, soles of the feet together. And just try to extend up high out of the hips. You can hold onto your shins. And with a flat back, we're going to start to come forward. Hinging out of the hip. Keeping the back straight for as long as you can. Find that wall. Deep breath in, create space. And out, relaxing down. If you'd like to, you can bring a block to your feet here and place your forehead on that. Just feeling that release in the lower back. Slowly coming back up and releasing both feet out wide. I like to move back a little bit so my bum's actually not on my mat because I need my heels on my mat. If I have a hard floor, it actually really hurts my heels. So just be careful. Find wherever's comfortable for you. Toes are flexed up. You want to keep the legs active. Your feet can be as far away or as close as you want. Totally up to you. You just want to start to feel the stretch in your inner thighs and the groin. So starting to sink forward, you can bring blocks under your hands here. Just starting to creep forward. Again, try to really release here. So you do want active legs, but try to let go of any tension that you're holding in your hips and in your thighs. So you do want to hinge forward from the hip. So again, keeping that back straight. Again, keeping very close attention as well if you're on a very hard floor. Noticing how your hamstring attachment feels. So if you're feeling a little bit of pain or pulling in, it feels like your sit bone, like your butt cheek, the way that the hamstring is attached in to that point, if you're like a little too exposed on it, you'll basically be sitting right on that hamstring attachment. So that can feel a little bit uncomfortable. I do feel it a little bit on this side actually. So you might just want to come to a blanket or something like that, ease off a little bit and kind of wiggle yourself around until you don't feel that anymore. Just be very careful because you don't want to pull anything here. Again, toes are active. Breathing deeply into the stretch. Together, giving that a little shake. We're going to move on to our backs now. So coming down onto the mat, let's pull our knees up into our chest, hugging them close into wind relieving pose. We can rock side to side. And let's circle the knees around here. In one direction and then change directions. Rocking side to side. We're gonna take a twist here. So you can keep your knees together or you can always cross the legs as if you're sitting down. Beginning to drop the legs over to one side. Keeping that opposite shoulder planted into the ground. Rolling the knees over and your gaze can be at that opposite thumb or straight up if that's hard on your neck. And just breathing deeply into the belly here, feeling that stretch, feeling your core being wrung out. Twists are so good for digestion, cramps, Lower back release. Spinal health. And inhaling the head back to center, followed by the legs. You can reset yourself here. And then taking the same shape as you took on the other side with your legs, starting to drop the knees over to that other side, keeping that shoulder planted in the ground, gazing at the opposite thumb. Breathing into the belly, wringing out the spine. Head comes back to center, followed by the rest of the body. We'll just pull the legs up into a happy baby here so you can reach for your shins or the outsides of your feet. Pushing your feet into your hands while pulling your feet down with your hands as well. This will help flatten the lower back on the floor. You can rock side to side. You can straighten one leg and then the other, whatever feels comfortable here. And releasing the legs down, we're gonna take our second last posture here. Please do be very careful with this posture. Make sure that you are comfortable coming into it. We're going to do shoulder stand. If you are not comfortable with that, if it's not in your practice, we can do bridge. So tucking the shoulders under the body, planting the feet into the ground. We're going to engage our core and pull the lower body up off the ground into our bridge pose. And when you release, vertebra by vertebra, just slowly down. Your lower back is the last thing to touch. Take a few breaths and then come into it again. If we are coming into our plow or our shoulder stand, you can start to come up as if you're coming into your bridge. I like to then wiggle my hands under to give me some support. So this is like a supported bridge. And then from here, you can start to lift your feet off the ground and pull up into your shoulder stand. If you are chesty like myself, this can be a little bit uncomfortable, as you can tell because I'm lisping. So just staying here for as long as it's comfortable. If you are able, you can drop the feet to the ground, coming into plow. Holy moly, that is a quarantine gut. Releasing the hands out. Making sure there's not too much pressure on your neck. And when you're ready, just super, super slowly rolling down. Rocking the knees side to side. Oh my goodness, I can breathe again. And just taking one last final posture before we move into Shavasana. So whether you want to do happy baby again, whatever feels good, yogi's choice. Just moving through your last couple of wiggles. If this is hard on your back, you can always take Shavasana in fetal position. And you can always keep your feet up and knees tended towards each other if it's better on your lower back. Otherwise, tucking the shoulders, letting the palms come up, and releasing the legs down, feet fall open. Coming back to your breath, back to your body. Letting that practice sink in. Held and supported by the floor, by the earth. Knowing that you are safe in this moment. If you feel too exposed here, you can always take Shavasana on your stomach as well. Whatever is comfortable and safe for you. Just taking some time here to allow the practice to settle in. Let the mind be free. If you notice thoughts popping up, just acknowledging that without judgment and letting them flow by. Repeating this process as many times as you need to. Just always trying to come back to that space of silence, relaxation. Overhead and taking a full body stretch, letting out any sighs or yawns. And slowly pulling the knees up, rolling to the side into the fetal position, using your bottom arm as a pillow. And just resting here for a moment. Using that top hand to help push you up. Coming to a comfortable seat. Hands come to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Taking a slight bow of the head. If this is uncomfortable, you can also just place your hands flat on your chest. Feeling your heart beating. Just taking a moment at the end of this practice to acknowledge your efforts without judgment, knowing that you did what you were able to do today in this moment. And thanking your body for assisting you, for moving you. Thanking yourself for taking time out of your day to do something for your own well-being. just feeling a moment of gratitude for all that you are in this space, in this moment, knowing that you are exactly what you need to be. You are exactly where you need to be. You are perfect. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. The light in me acknowledges, honors, and bows to the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this practice. I apologize if the lighting wasn't great. I will try to get out onto the porch one of these days if it's not so loud out there. Please like this video if you enjoyed this practice. Let me know in the comments down below if you like this spot. I am still, like I said in a previous video, I'm still trying to find the best place to record in the new house. So, I think I've got mascara everywhere. So please just let me know what you're thinking, what kind of lighting you like, that kind of thing. Please also comment just to say hi, to let me know what you'd like to see next week. And as always, have a great weekend, have a great day. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and you can hit the bell icon to receive a notification every time that I post a new video. I do post every Saturday, but I will also post occasionally during the week if the time feels right. If I am so inspired, you inspire me. Have a great, great day. Namaste.